What can you say to those couples who are not yet married but have already cohabiting?
Yeah, move out. Don't overcomplicate this. Oh, well, it's so complicated. No, like, do the same thing you did to move in, but just do it backwards, okay? This person is not your spouse. Don't play house and don't come up with excuses. Well, we need to see if we're compatible with each other.
Yeah.
You're not compatible, okay? You're a guy, she's a girl. You're not compatible. Get over it. It's going to be hard. You don't need to shack up for 3 years to figure that out. It's going to be hard. And compatibility is not really what makes a marriage. I mean, what makes a marriage is patience, sacrifice, forgiveness, and fidelity. And that's not the kind of qualities you really learn living together. You don't learn patience by grasping for the pleasures of marriage before the reality of it. It doesn't really teach you fidelity. It teaches you, like, well, if I want something, I should just go get it. And so if you really want a lasting marriage, I mean, study after study show cohabiting couples end up having weaker marriages, higher divorce rate. They're less sexually satisfied even during marriage. So that's not the route, even though it seems like everybody's taken it. And girls, if you're thinking about cohabiting, I mean, think how crazy it is to live with a guy who's not your husband. Because if you go on one date with a guy and he's a jerk, breaking up's easy. Dating a guy for 6 months and break up, it's harder. But now you sleep with them, now you move in with him, and then you realize he's not the one for you. Just imagine how hard it is to let go when you invested that much. Girls don't want to at that point. They just want to stay put and fix the guy. But the relationship is done before it begins. And your ability to be detached in a healthy way is gone when you're already emotionally and practically physically married to a guy, but you don't have his wedding ring on. And so reserve for marriage the forms of affection that are proper to marriage. You're going to have the rest of your natural life to enjoy the joys of marriage. But this is the only time you have in your whole life to prepare for that massive decision. You know, don't shortcut that. Don't just shack up and play house and pretend you're husband and wife. Because if you look at our culture, it's like a culture of single people who pretend like they're dating. Then the dating people behave like they're married. And then the married people seem to think they're single. Everything's out of order. And so if you're his girlfriend, quit acting like his wife. You're not his wife. Boyfriends don't get husband privileges. And if you are his wife, live as one. And if men just did the same thing, I think relationships would be a lot simpler.
How about Brother Jason if they have already kids, and what can you advise to them?
Well, you need to set an example for those kids. I mean, you need to set a godly example of how parents should live. And if you're not married, get married. Provided it's a functional, healthy, non-abusive relationship. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, let's get the show on the road here. Don't have one of these perpetual engagements. Well, we're engaged. Well, when's the wedding day? Well, we don't know. Sometime during 2027 or whatever. Like that. Engagement is not supposed to feel like the 40 years that Moses spent wandering in the wilderness with the Israelites. Like it needs to be compact. 6-9 months, get the show on the road. And so if your family thinks that you're a good couple and it's a functional environment, move forward to get married. And in the meantime, you need to live as brother and sister. Because you are not each other's spouses. You do not have a right to the other person's body, even if you've had kids before, even if I know she's the one for me. Like, they're not married, so don't pretend like you are. You need to set an example for your kids that, hey, maybe mom and dad didn't all take all the best steps initially, but they got the ship right. They really submitted to God with their sexual desires, and they obeyed him. Because what are you going to tell your kid? Like, you need to obey the church's teachings on sex before marriage, but we don't. It's like, well, hey, pick a lane. Like, are you really going to teach with moral authority? Well, your kid's not always going to obey you, but they'll never fail to imitate you.
Amen. Do you believe in the 3 days of darkness? I always heard this, that it was prophesied by Padre Pio and Sister Faustina. I heard it was part of the message.
Para magkaroon ka ng access sa content na ito, be part of my Patreon group at i-click mo lang ang gold membership. Ma-access mo na ang buong video talk na ito. Alam mo ba na pag ikaw ay naging part ng aking Patreon group ay matutulungan mo ako makapag-produce pa ng mga high quality content na katulad ng pinapanood mo ngayon, at sobrang makakatulong ito sa ating online evangelization dito sa ministry na ginagawa natin para mas ma-empower nyo kung makapag-produce ng mas marami pang content na alam ko na makakatulong sa inyong pananampalatayang Katoliko. Thank you and God bless.
So that's it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope na na-bless at na-inspire ka dito sa aking vlog. Make sure na i-like mo at mag-comment ka sa baba ng video na to at mag-subscribe ka sa aking YouTube channel para lagi kang updated sa mga bagong vlog na gagawin ko. At huwag mo din kakalimutan na i-like ang aking page. So this been Adrian Milag, encouraging you to live your life to the fullest. God bless you more abundantly.